Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And not Tiki.
Not Tiki. Not Tiki. And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. Once again.
Yep.
Welcome back to another edition of the Profile series here on WDWMagic.com's Imagineering boards. AdvBlueDude. Want to give them a plug?
WD go. Oh, wow. Wow. I think I just had a stroke. Go to WDWMagic.com for all your armchair Imagineering needs. We got Imagineering, we got non-Imagineering. Post things, go post things. You want post things, don't go post things. We got Imagineering, we got Disney, we got everything there. But of course, we have Magic, and we have 3 letters. So, please, come. Just come over, please.
That was beautiful. Go. That was beautiful.
I tried.
Yes, we do have 3 letters. Technically, we have 2.
Yeah, technically 2.
Yeah, just W and D.
Yeah.
You lie. How dare you lie?
Oh, I mean, you never told me to get an
advertising AdvBlueDude.
I'm just a keen advertiser. I embellish.
Okay. Anyways. Tonight we are here to talk about... Oh, God. Tonight we're here to talk about Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is highly regarded at Tokyo DisneySea, highly regarded to be one of the greatest theme parks on the planet. And basically, Journey to the Center of the Earth is a crown jewel of that park. And it is well known to be one of the greatest theme park attractions on the face of the Earth. So what do you think about this attraction, AdvBlueDude, just on a whole?
It's really good. I think it could be longer, but it's a really great attraction in general. It's definitely revolutionary for the time, and it does very interesting things that pretty much no other attraction's done. As of late.
Okay, so I wanted to start really quickly. I know you don't have a ton to say about this, but what's your relationship like with the Jules Verne novel?
I've tried reading it twice. I've gotten about halfway through each time. It's not that I don't like it, I really like it, it's just that I lose track of time and then just stop reading it. But I do know like the entire story and everything, so it's a really good book. It was really... This is really one of his most remembered books, and it's probably... This and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea are probably his most revered books. Because During the Center of the Earth was actually one of his first big hit books, because this came out in 1863. The book did, obviously. Okay. the book came out in 1863.
No, the ride was in 1863. Yeah.
Yeah, the book came out in 1863, and the only real hit that he had before that was 5 Weeks in a Balloon, which came out in 1860, if I'm remembering correctly. So it was right around the same time, but he hadn't really had any hits. But this is definitely his most. This was definitely his first and one of his biggest
It was
hits.
His first mainstream success, if you will.
Not really, because 5 Weeks in a Balloon was was a pretty big mainstream success.
Oh, okay.
But this is today. This was probably one of his earliest mainstream successes.
Okay, there's not much of a similarity between the attraction and the book, right?
I mean, there's a few references. The book does not have Nemo at all, because the book obviously came out before 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Right.
So that's completely different. So completely different characters. Professor Lidenbrock, his nephew Axel. And they're Axel, and they're
That sounds like an '80s punk rocker.
It does. And they're they're Icelandic guide Hans.
Okay.
This is also one of the books that was entirely fucked by the original translators. There are a lot of public domain versions of the book translate. Lidenbrock's name is Hardwig, which is not correct at all. So, things like that. I could go on for hours about how people have totally ruined Jules Verne's translations.
Oh, dear.
Which is why I have a gigantic book that I would grab, but it's on the other side of my basement. And it's amazing, and it has probably the most accurate English translations of Jules Verne books. But that's beside the point. But yeah, there's a few similarities. there's a really, really, really brief scene in the ride where you pass the Lidenbrock Sea, and there's a sign denoting it as the Lidenbrock Sea. If I'm remembering correctly, I could just be remembering League of Extraordinary Gentlemen by mistake. But I'm 99% sure that there's a sign like denoting where the Lidenbrock Sea is. I'm sure there's a few references in the queue, but that's really where the similarity.
I don't even know much about the queue.
The queues, there's not a whole lot to it. There's the top part. There's the first part, which you just go through a cave system, and there's a bunch of like research modules.
Okay.
That you can't go into. Then you go into the Terravator, and you go down miles below the Earth, and then you're below the Earth, and then there's like mining equipment, and then there's load. But there's really not a whole lot to it. I believe there's a map as well that also denotes the Lidenbrock Sea. If
I assume that the research stuff is all like set up for Nemo and everything.
Yeah, it is. If I'm remembering correctly, there might be mention of Lidenbrock, but I don't believe there is.
Okay.
And yeah, like there are pretty much no similarities. The mountain is completely different. In the book, they climb Mount Sneffels, which is in an active volcano, and like I've seen it on a map. It's an actual mountain. I want to climb it. It's in Western Iceland, and so they climbed that. But in
Mount Prometheus just sounds way more badass.
Yeah, it does. For the park, it makes sense because it's in the mysterious island. Another thing to note that it hadn't it was not the mysterious island, nor was Nemo. Actually, yes, he was. I lied. I'm sorry. Whoops.
More false advertising.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Lost World. So ignore that. But yeah, in the park it's Mount Prometheus, but in the book it's Mount Sneffels. So it's pretty completely different on multiple levels.
Okay, what do you think Disney's inspiration was to take Journey to the Center of the Earth and make it like the primary focus of the DisneySea park?
I'm not sure. I mean, Disney's always had a fascination with Nemo, like the Nemo character. Because 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea happened in the 50s. There was an exhibit opening day. Then eventually there was the ride in Magic Kingdom. Then there was the ride in Paris. Then there's this whole land in DisneySea. And I really think I don't think Journey to the Center of the Earth they were like, oh, we got to do this. I think it was more like they wanted to put Nemo in DisneySea. And we're trying to think of more ways to facilitate that, and the obvious choice is let's do more Jules Verne and shoehorn Nemo into it, which is not a bad thing at all. But
and then DisneySea also has 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, so it all ties together into this.
Yes, it has 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, as Journey to the Center of the Earth, and it all takes place in the mysterious island. So
okay,
that's
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so you want to talk about the actual ride?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So, I guess it starts out with this big room where there's a bunch of, like, I don't know, magic mushrooms and stuff like that. It looks pretty psychedelic to me.
Yeah, it's all just, like, it's supposed to be alien planet life. So
that's what I figured, yeah. I mean, it looks cool. It's really good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really... I suppose it starts out on a light note, where like everything's really beautiful. Like
exactly.
Alien things.
That's classic Disney park sort of.
Yeah.
Blue Bio's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
I can think of a ton of course, Peter Pan's Flight, Neverland. I mean, London. That's a classic example. Lots of Disney attractions do that. I do like the general aesthetic for this because I like that the Imagineers weren't afraid to kind of go with kind of a unique look for the whole thing.
Oh, I agree.
Like it's not really steampunk. I mean, certainly the park itself and the outside is very steampunk, but I'm talking just the design of the aliens and the creatures and everything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Certainly this attraction is very steampunk. No.
No, yeah, creature-wise, it's really interesting how they went for.
Yeah, creature-wise, I'm saying, they basically just kind of created their own kind of thing here, and I respect that.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. Again, it's all very it's all very mushroom-like to me.
It is. It's all really organic looking, which is
Right,
great. Yeah.
right,
And
right.
I do think it was a smart decision then to do some of the things that the book does, because in the book, like, they go down there and they're like, oh, dinosaurs, and then a gigantic man. But
A gigantic man.
yes, yes, there's a
Were there any
gigantic
elevator
man.
shafts?
No, no, no. They what they did was they climbed to the top of Mount Sneffels, and then they followed the ancient runes of a medieval alchemist named Arne Saknussemm. And I apologize if I'm butchering the Icelandic language, but I'm not Icelandic. They followed his runes, which brought them to the top of Mount Sneffels, and then they literally followed a cave system down just forever, somehow, and then they went into the center of the earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like the design of this kind of weird white alien parrot thing that I'm looking at right now.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like how like a majority of the attraction is just kind of like getting you into this false sense of security, really.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's very much like, oh, hey, come check out our peaceful little plants and stuff, and I don't know. And then now I think we're getting kind of more into the rock monsters domain. Yeah, here we go.
They're going down a shaft, and then the one shaft is broken off, and then or blocked off, and then it turns into the bad part of town, the center of the earth.
Ooh, the wrong side of the elevator shaft. Yeah. So let's just does the lava monster have a nickname?
Not that I know of. If he does, it's in Japanese.
Oh God! Right.
I don't know. He might. I don't believe he does, but he could. He absolutely.
Okay.
Could. This is also the part. This is the scene where they pass the Living Rock Sea.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know when the scene with all the lightning?
That's what I'm watching right now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's like if you look to your right, there will be like a distant like body of water, and there will be a sign attached to it that says Lidenbrock Sea, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh wow, that's really, really subtle.
Yeah, you might not notice it. I might be misremembering, but I'm pretty sure it's there. But yeah, then shit happens. Magma Monster. He doesn't really do much. He roars. And
he's really, really cool. I mean, let's give
credit he is.
Dude, he's an excellent animatronic.
Oh, he's a great AA.
And guess what? He works.
Yeah.
He works. He actually moves. You don't have to flash light to simulate movement. What a concept, AdvBlueDude, right? Like, can you believe that?
It's a hell of a party in Everest, actually. So, I mean, you're missing out, really. Yeah.
Oh God. I don't even know how to respond to that. They should just play dubstep in that tunnel.
Oh my God, I would die if they did. I would hate it, but I would love it at the same time.
Right.
And I would not blame them.
Oh God, yeah. But the thing I like the most about this lava creature is, I mean, A, just the amount of moving parts it has, and just how dynamic its animation is, and B, I just love the whole design of the teeth within teeth within teeth.
He's really bug-like.
Right. Yeah. Oh God, it's really unsettling.
Yeah.
I'd say this is probably the second most unsettling animatronic Disney's ever done, next to the Alien Encounter one.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, and then I must say, dude, when I saw this ride video, when I just watched it today for research, I was surprised by how short the kind of test track segment was.
Yeah, it doesn't really do much. It's a very interesting concept, though, because the original concept for the attraction. Well, how when it goes out and then crests down really suddenly.
Exactly, yeah.
Right at that peak, and when it just drops down, it's supposed to simulate you jumping off the rock and onto another rock.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I assume it would play better, like, if you're actually riding it and not just watching a video.
Yeah, I'm sure it'd play better if they could figure out a way to actually do that as well, because it doesn't really work with a track, obviously. But
right.
it's a really interesting idea, though. So like,
but yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't think that the thrill ride element is what counts for this attraction. So
no, absolutely not.
You know, it's like when you look at something like Radiator Springs Racers, which in concept, not necessarily, of course, in theme or tone or anything, but in concept and execution, it's probably the most similar thing that we have to Journey to the Center of the Earth, although I do think that just watching the videos of Radiator Springs Racers, I have to say I do think it does give this attraction a run for its money.
I would put Radiator Spring Racers on the same level as Test Track, honestly.
No, I wouldn't do that at all. No. I think it's a huge level above Test Track.
It has much better theming.
Of course, it has beautiful theming.
In every other way, it is essentially Test Track, and I do think that Journey to the Center of the Earth is superior in every way to both of those attractions. Other than length. Length aside.
That's okay. I guess that's what I'm talking about in terms of Radiator Springs Racers. I mean, of course, I haven't been on either of them. I still have reoccurring nightmares of being at the Disneyland Resort and being like, "Oh no, it's our last day. We haven't been to Cars Land." I'm not even joking. It's actually quite traumatizing. But anyways, so let's kind of round out this discussion. What do you think of the idea of Mount Prometheus as kind of like the centerpiece of Tokyo DisneySea?
It's a very interesting centerpiece. It does definitely set the tone, because DisneySea in general has a really adventurous tone to it.
I mean, we could do like a huge podcast on like all of DisneySea at some point, just profiling just how amazing that park design is.
Yeah, it's also really interesting because the park has a very continental feel to it.
Sure.
There's Italy, there's the north, there's the east coast of the U.S., there's South America, there's the Middle East.
It's almost kind of like the World Showcase, but like on a huge budget.
And a lot more fantastical. But,
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
It's really interesting to have the centerpiece be the one fake continent.
Mm.
So like it really does set up that fantastical tone.
I hear you. Yeah, that's a good observation for sure.
While still staying rooted in reality to some extent.
Right. Okay, so I guess the one thing I want to kind of bring up before we leave is I remember my local fairgrounds does this thing that they called a flower show. I don't know if that's like a common thing that fairs do or not.
I have never heard of that.
You've never heard of it?
No.
Okay, well, there's a Hall of Flowers at my local fairground, and every year they do a different theme. One year it was aliens. That was really badass because it was like a spaceship with all these like kind of like plant life that looked alien. You know what I mean? They got like a bunch of different plants, and that was really cool. But one year they did a volcano that was just like this big, like, I don't know what the hell it was, but man, it still like sticks out in my mind to this day. Like, of course, the building itself was only like 2 stories tall, so it couldn't have been more than like 20 feet. You know, but like I remember like that kind of little kid imagination in you, you know, where you're like, holy crap, that thing's like 200 feet tall, you know. So I don't know. I just think that it's really neat that in Tokyo DisneySea we essentially have a gigantic version of that. That is literally 200 feet tall.
Yeah.
So just a little childhood nugget of nostalgia to end out on. So, AdvBlueDude, this is your last show for 10 days, at least.
Yes.
At least.
11.
11, at least. You might need a day or two to recover.
Yes,
and I will not blame you.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little preview of what you're doing and what you might actually be uploading to the channel?
No, those are surprises. But I'm going to Disney World.
I'm sorry, I didn't need to. I thought it'd be cool to.
Well, I'm not gonna announce it, but there's someone lived in Event Horizons. Check out, everybody. Something that has been hidden the deep annals of our YouTube channel. So,
yes,
if you would like to seek out what that is, you can try. Yeah, I'm going to. I'll be at the 24-hour event.
Can you tell them about the Jungle Cruise thing?
Oh yeah, Jungle Cruise is running until 6 a.m. I do very much intend on attempting to get a video of Jungle Cruise at 5 a.m. So that should be a very interesting Jungle Cruise.
I am so looking forward to that. That's all I need to know. That's all I need. Anything else, just go nuts, but that's all I need to see.
I'll be waking up with the mechanical animals, and I will be fucking ecstatic.
All right. Any last words?
More milk is good until you keep it out for too long.
And have a good night, everybody.